Hey everyone, this is part 3 of doing your own audit, or if you're new to Marketo and you're trying to understand how it was set up. Uh, yeah, final one of the 3-part series. Thanks for watching. So previously we talked about the reporting pieces, how to go about seeing if that's set up correctly. We talked about the channel piece and seeing how that's set up correctly, and as well as the integrations. That was this was part 1, and this then was part 2. Now we are in part 3, which is the CRM. Your system may also show Marketo in here. It would be very similar to what you see as the CRM. You can have both connected. For the sake of the audit and just kind of doing a quick high-level overview for any new user or someone who's inheriting an instance, we're just going to cover the CRM piece, and if you can always pick up on the Marketo piece as you go through this. So general setting here, you can update your daily API. Do not do this without asking your CRM admin, obviously. So if that's the, don't go rogue and do that. But if you could be hitting a number of API limits. Let's say 50,000 is just exceeding it because you're exceeding it because you have just a massive CRM and your touch points just aren't able to get created there. You can open that up for a limited time, barring that your CRM admin says that's okay, and then that will help. And then you can obviously adjust the batch size as well. You do have the multiple currency. This is something in which you would have to submit a support ticket to be able to enable. Activities is exactly what it says. It is looking at your CRM activity object, or the task or event, and we are able to create some rule or a logic to pull in the touch point. So for example, I have a CRM who has a field that says call answered. Okay, so I can go in and I can say the rule contains CRM task call answered is true, and then we want to create a touch point off of that. Now there's a lot of documentation on this. This is not an implementation call. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what that's supposed to do. So if you inherited this or you're new to this, what you can do is work with your sales ops team and see or even your Salesforce team and see, is there something in which you would like to pull in as far as being able to attribute revenue? Work across the teams to help that happen, right? Again, plenty of documentation around these things. Biggest piece on this one, the one that really anyone new to this can want to focus on, is the post LC. This is the same thing with the contact and that post LC. Post LC is any buyer touch point. So we're not talking about the buyer attribution touch point, which is associated to revenue or dollars. We're talking about the buyer touch point, which is just the individual engagement. So if attribution guy visits your site but never buys, I just have buyer touch points. I don't have buyer attribution touch points, right? So what we do is we limit the number of touches that I would have in your system. So if I hit your system 20 times, you're only going to see my first touch, my lead creation, and 10 other touch points, that the 10 most recent touch points. Make sense? So you're going to miss 10, the other 10. I'll put it in, rather than 20 touches, we'll do 12, right? So if I have 12 touch points in your system outside of my first touch and lead creation, you'll see my 10 most recent touches, and then you'll have 2 touch points that will be inside the discovered dashboards but won't be inside your CRM. This is a great way for clients who may have a ton of engagement on their site, but they want to limit that measurement inside their CRM due to data restrictions there inside the CRM. Again, does not hurt you from the Discover. Those touch points will be inside of Discover. Same thing in the context. So like this one is 100. I don't recommend that, but that's just how it was set up. Opportunities, the only one in here is the custom amount field. You want to work with your team to figure out if you're using a custom amount field or a custom close date field, even a custom created date field. These are I wouldn't really focus too much on these other ones. It's still important to think about, but this is really where I would work with your team and say, hey, Salesforce team or Dynamics team, are we using a custom amount field? Is there a custom close date? Is there a custom created date field that we need to know about on the opportunity object? Nothing here. That should be marked as yes. It's based upon your tiering, but I think it's fine. Campaigns. So we talked about in part 2 how in the offline channels you can map like telemarketing over, but you need to actually get that campaign information over from your CRM. This has failed because my CRM is not connected. So yeah. So the campaigns, I can come in here and create the campaign rule now for telemarketing. So this is my optional rule name. I'll call it telemarketing. And then I would select the field. This would show you the entire a number of fields, unless it's a formula field. We don't pull those in. We won't see those. But it would show you all the fields that live on the campaign object and the campaign member object. So again, plenty of documentation about all this, but this is what you want to kind of hone in on. Like if I'm brand new to Marketo Measure and I see that this is empty, I need to figure out why this is empty, right? Why did we not implement this? Is there a reason for it? And then the way you go about implementing it is in our documentation, but you would just choose the field in which you would want. So campaign name contains telemarketing and the campaign member status is success. And then we would create those touch points there, right? Stage mapping. I was gonna say, it's just loading. And again, I mentioned something that goes, this is not a implementation sessions here, but my goal here is just to help give you a good understanding of when you go into the system and you're visually looking at it, what do you need to be really focused in on? Because there's a lot of data in here, right? So the stage mapping is not so much an action item for you to take on immediately, but it's something that you need to be able to say, okay, are we looking to pull in custom stages? And if so, we can add that into our custom model, but we need to have that discussion with the team before we do anything like that. But you can do that here. And you can do it on the opportunity object as well. Custom here, we don't touch anything in this. This isn't really part of the audit. Like I don't even look at this for the audit piece. So, but this is part 3. It's probably the shortest one of them all, but leave your comments below. Feel free to ask us any questions and I will try to answer those in a timely manner. Thanks so much.